This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have an Electrolux gas dryer that is not heating up anymore. We verified that all the other systems are working. It's just not getting heat due to a faulty igniter. Put a multimeter at the igniter and got 110 volts, but did not have any glow from the igniter, so the igniter is just worn out. So I've got it unplugged. I've got it lifted up a little bit so I can access these bottom screws. I've already removed the top panel by taking out 2 screws behind the top panel and then lifting it off. And I'm going to now need to remove this front panel. So I got the 2 screws off the bottom. Open up the door and remove these longer screws that are here on the right and left hand side. I'm going to remove a couple screws from the upper left hand side, just 2 small Phillips head, 2 from the right side. One more here on the left, one more on the right. Now we can pull the control panel up and out of the way. And got to remove a couple more screws here now. One in the upper left part of the front panel, one in the upper right part of the front panel. And we can pull the panel away. We're going to disconnect the door switch, which is down there at the bottom. And next we can take off the manifold. That's the part that is got the rollers on it. It's kind of holding up the tumbler, holding up the drum. Take out these 2 screws. This is for the bracket that holds the controller. And then we're taking out these 2 bottom left, bottom right hand corner for the manifold. So now we're going to lift up on the manifold to get it to come loose from the frame. To lift up and then pull out toward the front to get that off. And now we got to get the belt loose so we can take the tumbler out. So I'm going to reach in on the right and left hand side. I'm going to pull the either wheel to the side to get the belt off the motor pulley. Now we're pulling out the tumbler, the drum, getting it out of the way. And now we have better access to where the igniter is. So the igniter is inside the burn tube here. And in this model, it's kind of hard to get to. We're going to use a ratchet with a very small Phillips head, or a number 2 Phillips head driver, but just a really short one. This is what the igniter looks like. And you can get these from Amazon. There's quite a price range. These are some cheaper ones that come from China. You can get the original part. It's about $110, I think. So we got this small Phillips head bit on a small ratchet, and we have to take out 1 Phillips head screw. I'm going to reach in with my index finger to push in on the head of the ratchet, and then I'm going to use my left hand to go up and down to loosen up that screw. The threads are really short, so you don't have to do this too many times. It's just very difficult to get to. There is some disassembly you can do to get this whole thing out of the burner tube to give you more access, but this is a little faster of a way. It's just difficult to get a tool in there and get your hands in there to get that 1 screw out. When you put the new igniter in, you got to be really careful because the outside of it is very fragile. You don't want it to hit any kind of metal as you put the new one in. It comes in this foam protector, and I'm just doing a continuity check here just for fun to make sure that it does have continuity and that it's not broken, because they're so fragile they can even break during shipping. So here's the new igniter. I'm going to be careful now putting it in. Another option you might have is to put a little paper towel around it so that there's just no chance it's going to bang into any of the metal as you put it in. You have to bring it into the burner tube, and then you have to get it up over a metal ridge. You'll see it when you do it, and you get it to sit down on that metal ridge. The top of that ridge has a little piece of metal that sticks up that helps to index the igniter into the right position. And then you have to come in on the other side and put in that little tiny Phillips head screw. Just, again, not much room to work. Just be patient, take your time. Make sure it sits down there firmly. And we come in from the other side. We're going to put the screw onto the driver, and then we're going to get it in position, push in with our index finger. I'm reaching underneath with my right hand to work the ratchet up and down. I'm pushing in with my left index finger on the back of the ratchet to put inward pressure on the screw, and I'm just going to go up and down until it's in there tight. Now I'm going to hook up the modular connector for the igniter. I'm going to put it through this little hole here and then hook those together. And that does it. You have a new igniter and you get your heat back. We're going to put it back together. We're going to put the tumbler in, get it all the way to the back on the back wheels. We're going to reach in underneath and get the belt to go over the idler wheel, and then pull the idler wheel, which is under spring tension, to the side, and then reach in and get the belt to go over the smaller motor pulley. And then before you put it back together, it's good to spin, just reaching in on either side now to do the belt. And move the idler wheel to my left. And then it's good to spin the tumbler a couple times before you do the next part of the reassembly. This part involves putting the bulkhead back in, and there's a couple of little metal tabs that it has that help it fit into the frame, and you want to just get those in position, lift up, and then let it kind of drop into those slots. And we're going to put the two screws, Phillips head screws, on the bottom of the manifold, on the bottom right and left. Don't put them on the top yet. The holes at the top have to be open to accept the front panel. So now we're going to get this bracket for the controller. It's metal pieces to fit back in the slots. Then we'll add two Phillips head screws to hold that into position. There we go. Then we can put on the front panel. So bring the front panel around, and we're going to make sure we connect the door switch here at the bottom. Get that on securely. And then we're going to get the panel in position, and then we'll go ahead and add the Phillips head screws in the upper left and upper right hand corner first. Then we want to lift the dryer up a little bit to get access to those bottom two screws. Maybe put it up on a little piece of wood to give you easier access, and then put on those two screws. So we'll use the upper ones first. We have those longer ones that are going to go in the front behind the door here at the 4 o'clock position and at the 8 o'clock position. Alright, put the control panel back in. It has little metal pieces that fit into slots also on the right and left hand side, about 2 inches down right here and right here. And then once those sit down in there, you can add, there's 2 screws on the left, 2 screws on the right to hold it in position. Alright, I'm going to plug it in, give it a little test before I put the top panel back on. So I'm going to set it for a heat cycle and then start it up. I'm going to listen, see if I can hear when it kicks in. Yeah, I hear the flame start. So the igniter is working. That did the trick. And I hope this helps you too with your Electrolux or Frigidaire gas dryer. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe when you get a chance, and we'll send you a lot more Fix-It videos. Thanks again.